Hello, this is Steve from SDRplay. I'm recording this video just as we're about to release public preview 4 of SDRconnect. And rather than going through the many features of preview 4, this video is going to cover exclusively one particular feature which is unique to the Raspberry Pi. We know that many of you are using a Raspberry Pi to implement a remote server. This gives you a means to remotely access your RSP from elsewhere within the house or elsewhere across the internet from anywhere in the world. And although a server functionality has been in there since the beginning, it's a little bit tricky if you want to set it up so it starts automatically when power is applied to the Pi or when the Pi is restarted. So to overcome those limitations, in this release, we now have a server service. This is something you can optionally install when you install the program. And in today's video, I'm going to go through the details of that. So as a brief recap, I'll go through how to download the software, how to run the installer for the software. I'll show you how to configure the server, and also show you how you can still run the client locally if you so wish. And I think you'll be really excited by this new feature, and we felt it justified having a video dedicated just to this one function. If there are any other questions you have about features of Preview 4, please see the other videos that are being released about the same time. Just a couple of things to note before we get started. Firstly, if you look in the description below this video, you'll find several links that you may find come in handy to reference other information regarding SDRconnect. Secondly, there is also a link to a written document. So you can watch the video. You don't need to take notes because everything I'm about to show you will be included in that document, so you can refer to that later. So, without further ado, let's look at starting by downloading the software. Okay, well, we'll start off by going to the SDRplay website. Once there, we can go to Software, SDRconnect, and we can scroll down to the bottom of the page. If we select Linux ARM64, that will work for the Raspberry Pi. So we can download that. And tell the browser we want to keep it. It's pretty much downloaded. And what I'm going to do is show it. It will be there in your downloads folder. My preference is to actually work from the desktop, so I'll be copying the file over to the desktop, but you can do all the same operations I'm doing on the desktop in the downloads folder if you prefer. As I previously mentioned, I've put the downloaded file on my desktop. So the next step is to make this file executable. And to do that, I'm going to right-click on the file, select Properties, and then go to the Permissions tab and change Execute to Anyone if you haven't already done that already. That's all it takes. Now I'm going to open up a terminal window. And because my file is on the desktop and that's where I want to work, I'm going to CD to the desktop. And what I'm going to do is list the files so I can see the file I downloaded, which is here. And to save typing, because I hate typing with a passion, I can do Edit, Copy. And then on the next line, I can do // and then go back to the Edit and Paste and hit Enter. And now you'll see it's already working on the installer. Press Return to see the agreement. You can page through this with the spacebar, or you can just hit Q at any time to get out of the agreement. We will select Yes. And it's finding the packages it needs, and it's going through the installation. And installation location, I always leave that as the default, /opt/SDRconnect. So I can just press enter. To continue, press yes again. Create a menu entry. This allows us to start the SDRconnect from the Raspberry menu at the top. And so I always select yes. Now, here's a new one. Install SDRconnect as a server service. This is the new feature that everybody's been looking forward to, and definitely I'm going to install it. So I type yes. Other than that, the basic installation is the same as it's always been, and now it's complete. So that's the installation part done. Okay, looking at the option to auto start the server, when you're asked to install the server service, should you pick yes or no? Certainly, if you plan on using your Pi as a server and want to connect to it remotely, I would say yes. By all means, install it. That way, every time you power up the Pi or restart the Pi, the service will be running and you'll be able to access the server remotely. The only reason not to install it would be if you never intend to use your Pi as a server and you just want to use it locally with an RSP plugged in and you're sitting there in front of the Pi and you want to run SDRconnect as a client and control your RSP, which is fine. And then at some point down the road, if you change your mind, you can just run the installer again and next time select yes. So in general, our recommendation is say yes and install the server service. Now, just to cover all bases, if you do that and then subsequently decide you don't want the server running every time you start up your Pi, then there is an option to disable the SDRconnect service, and I'll put the instruction for that up here on the screen. Now at this point, having completed the installation, the service should in fact be running. There's a comment on here that recommends you reboot your system, and we do recommend you do that, but I'm just going to go ahead and verify that indeed the service is running. So the way I'm going to do that is by starting up a client. Now, one dead giveaway is if I go to Other and select SDRconnect, I actually have an RSP2 connected to this Raspberry Pi. But you will see that at the top it's not finding an RSP2, and that's because the service is already using the RSP2 in its server capacity. So the way we can test if it's working or not is we can go to remote devices. And by way of a test, I created a remote device called Server Test. I'm running this on the same machine as the server, so I can use the local host IP address, which is 127.0.0.1, and by default the service will run the server on port 50,000. So I can just click Test Connection. It says connection to server is successful, so I know that indeed the service is running. And it's as simple as that. You don't have to use the client running on the same Raspberry Pi. If you're doing this remotely over SSH or whatever, any machine that you can run the SDRconnect client on, you can set up a remote device and just point to the IP address of the Raspberry Pi and again verify that the server is there. Hopefully this slide makes everything a little easier to read. If not, just go to the written documentation. Now, as you will have noticed when we tested the server just now, by default it's set up to be port 50,000. And what happens if you want to use a different port, or you want to use some of the other server settings you may have been used to using from the terminal command before? Well, that's available to you as well. We can open up our file manager, and what we want to do is go to the system. Where is it? I guess it's here somewhere, file system, and go to opt SDRconnect, assuming you use the default install location. And in here you will see a file called serveroptions.txt. So we can right click on that and select text editor, and there we see port 50,000. Now we have access to all the same switches we've used in the past, so I tend to use 50,002 for my port number. If we have a multi-input device like an RSP2, RSP Duo, RSP-DX, we can select which antenna port the server will start up with by default. And I should have put 2 dashes in front. Dash and antenna, let's say equals 1, for example. And my typing, you can see why I don't like typing. Antenna equals 1. Having done that, we can do save. And now we've updated the server parameters. Now the server's already running, so it hasn't looked at this file. So to have it take effect, and probably what I should have done before starting the editing, is I should have stopped the server. So the command for that is sudo system control stop SDRconnect, and that will stop the service. And then to make it reload that configuration file, I will start the service. And again, this would happen automatically if the device was actually restarted. So we can now start the service. And now let's see what happens if we go in, and we'll open up the local client again for convenience. So before, remember, we were on port 50,000. So let's have a look. There's our entry, 50,000. Let's test the connection. And you see it cannot connect to the server. And the reason for that is we changed the port number to 50,002. And now we can test the connection, and now we're successful. Save the changes, close it. We can refresh the server list, and we can hit go. And sure enough, there are some signals from my RSP Duo, and if I look at the antenna connections, you'll see port A and port B. The high Z port would also show up if I set the frequency below 30 megahertz, which was the upper limit on the RSP2. So again, what I've done now is I've established that the server configuration has been updated to whatever requirements I had. And yeah, that's it. Now, if you were using an earlier build of SDRconnect and were using the terminal to start the server, for example, by typing SDRconnect --server, etc., when you do it to start the server that way, you see a lot of information about how the server's set up, and you can also see any clients, remote clients that may be connected, and so on. And you may be wondering if there's anything similar to that you can use with the server service. And the answer is yes. There is a command, and hopefully I can remember it correctly. It will be system control. Let me put my mouse in here. System control status SDRconnect. Hopefully I got that right. And what you'll see is some information about what's been loaded. Tells us that the RF notch is disabled, maximum number of clients, so on and so forth. You can make this window bigger. And what you'll need to do is it will tell us clients connected and disconnected, same sort of information you saw before. So that information is available using the system control status command, and we can get out of this by doing Control C. Your Raspberry Pi is now configured such that every time you restart it or power it on, the server service will be running. But what if, for whatever reason, you just want to run the SDRconnect client locally connected to your local RSP, or if you just wanted to use the old terminal command to start the server? And you can do that, but first you have to stop the service that's running. So the command for that would be sudo, I've got to put my mouse in there again, I keep forgetting, sudo system control stop SDRconnect, and hopefully I typed that correctly. So now if I go to start up the client, you remember before when we started the client, all it saw was that server I'd set up. Now it's seeing the RSP2 that's actually connected to the device. So now it's just like in the previous builds. You can just run the device and just use SDRconnect as you always did. Likewise, if you close the client and you just want to run the server from the command line for whatever reason, you can type SDRconnect -- server, and just for grins we'll change the port to 50,001. Hope I got that right. And it didn't like that, so let me try something a little different. Server, and now I've typed it correctly. You'll see that just as before, it's listening on port 50,000, and there are the various server parameters. And to stop the server running, do Control-C. So in this mode, once you've stopped the server service from running, it's just like previous builds. You can run the client connected to a local RSP. You can run the server from the command line. Now, if for whatever reason you want to get back to the automatic server service, then all we have to do is type sudo system control start SDRconnect, and we should be back to where we were before. And so now again, just as a check, if we open up the client, we no longer see the RSP2, we see the servers there. So let's see if we can connect to the server. And there's the server connection. So everything worked out well, and we're back to where we started from. So in summary, the optional server service makes it really easy to set up the Pi as a remote server. This server will start up automatically when you power up the Pi or when the device is restarted. It's very easy to configure the server using a simple text file. And if you need local client operation, it's easy enough to stop and then restart the service later. Now you may be wondering, well, what if I'm using my Raspberry Pi completely headless? Well, in fact, the videos I've shown here, I do use my Pi headless, but I do have the desktop environment loaded because my preference is to come in via VNC because I like the graphical interface. And as you've seen many times, my typing is absolutely atrocious. However, you can use the same commands if you SSH into the Pi and set it up that way just as easily. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Now, why don't you head over to SDRplay.com and download the latest preview and check it out. 73.